Magnus Imago, originally released in February of this year through Polish indie developer Sons of Welder, is a point-and-click hidden object game with a very specific twist. It's surreal as fuck. Now, to be honest, I've never really been much of a fan of the whole find the hidden object thing. Point-and-click adventure titles have something of a special place in my heart, sure, but the whole stationary image, look for things to click on and then combine them with other things to click on puzzle games? Not so much. I'm sure there's a certain target audience out there that gets a kick out of them, but I mostly take a hard pass. It's really only due to the fact that the developer was kind enough to reach out and offer a review code that I'm even talking about this game at all, because I honestly don't know if I would have tried Magnus Imago out without it having been made extremely easy for me. Which sounds terrible, I know, and it's even in spite of the fact that I knew right away from the screenshots and trailer that I would absolutely adore this game's visual style. But try it I did. And I'm really damn glad. Because the atmosphere of this game is fucking delicious. So, just like I've already touched on, the gameplay of Magnus Imago is very much your classic hidden object fare. Find the things to pick up and then use them on other things. Rinse and repeat. There's not much more to say about it. But the gameplay really isn't what we're here for. It's not why I spent the majority of my time with the game in a near constant state of fascinated glee. No. The reason why I like Magnus Imago so much is just, well, everything else except the gameplay. The art style, for instance, is infectiously striking, calling back to the popular indie horror title Neverending Nightmares, whereas the music is wonderfully soothing, in a similar vein to Speed Dating for Ghosts, or the melancholic side to Milk Outside a Bag of Milk's soundtrack. In fact, the music and very subtle implementation of occasional sound design easily stands as a huge contributing factor in what makes Magnus Imago so compelling. For the most part, the soundtrack is full to the brim of relaxed, laid-back ambience, or chirpy electronic melodies that playfully encourage the player's curiosity. It almost feels like you're being lured into a false sense of security, and in some ways you are, because the sudden appearance of strange, surreal mixed media never ceases to throw you off balance. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, this trippy Tool music video shit, I love it. This kind of thing scratches a very specific itch for me. It's a bit like when Courage the Cowardly Dog would randomly throw in a bizarre new form of animation, or perhaps akin to your first reaction of a particularly gruesome image while reading Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I honestly couldn't help but feel taken aback at how goddamn enraptured I was with this game after the first time I saw one of these. I couldn't wait to see the next one. and it certainly stands as a deciding factor that kept me intrigued from the beginning to end. And that's another thing that really works to Magnus Imago's favour, the brevity of its runtime. Magnus Imago is at most offering an hour or two's worth of gameplay, depending on how quickly you work through the puzzles. And for me, the game's shorter length was 10 times more effective than a hypothetical version of Magnus Imago stretched thin across 4 to 6 hours. It keeps the bizarre nature of Magnus Imago from growing stale or losing its potency, and instead results in an experience that I look forward to jumping into again in the future, rather than one I grew to be exhausted with. Alrighty, I know this video is kind of short, but that's about all I've got to say on this one. Without delving into the solutions of puzzles and stuff, there really isn't much else I can get into. And to be honest, from a surface level, I'm pretty happy with just leaving things here and encouraging you to check this out for yourself. If you're intrigued at all by the look of Magnus Imago, or if you're just the type of person to enjoy odd atmospheric experiences, I absolutely recommend it. The puzzles themselves are suitably weird, and I can't deny that a lot of my own solutions were made through pure guesswork, but there's certainly a few that will give you that wonderful double take of, huh, that's kinda strange. At the end of the day, I like this game. I'd like to thank Sons of Welder for the opportunity to review Magnus Imago, and of course also thank my wonderful supporters over on Patreon, in particular the highest tiers, Game Master, DarkRaptor86, and BFD Survivor. Thank you all for watching, my beautifully transparent brethren. I'll see you in the next review.